Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kent and it is Men's Mental Health Month, so today I'm going to be talking about men's mental health. In this video, I'll be speaking about men as a general whole and not individual outliers. So, why is men's mental health so important? Well, there aren't really a whole lot of resources out there for us men, and there is a pretty negative stigma around men sharing their feelings and emotions. This is a fact that I think both men and women should acknowledge, and the best way to acknowledge it is by talking about it and start addressing it. A quick statistic for you is that about 80% of self KIAs are done by men. Modern feminism hasn't necessarily helped this out because it's been pushing men down instead of all of us acting as equals. Us men are often portrayed as predatory or creepy. Yes, there are bad men out there, I'm not denying that, but I would say that the majority of men have good intentions. In recent years and months, I've actually encountered women that are more predatory in the ways of them trying to take advantage of me or hurt my reputation that I've worked so hard to build up. It is also worth mentioning that just like women, SA against men often goes unreported. It is believed to be the most underreported crime between men and women. With men, it's often said that we enjoy it and it's just laughed off. We feel like nobody cares or takes it seriously. I myself have experienced that. So it makes it difficult to talk about when we actually feel like nobody cares and nobody really wants to listen to what we have to say. I will briefly share my experience with that. And what happened was that I was at work and I was in an elevator. I got cornered by two women and they started touching me fairly inappropriately and saying very inappropriate things to me. I didn't quite know what to do when they came at me, and it was very awkward and didn't make me feel very comfortable. I know that might classify more so on the harassment side, but it's still very inappropriate behavior that's not appropriate for the workplace or just anywhere. Something I've brought up when people just dismiss it and laugh it off is, what if the genders were reversed? What if it was two men inappropriately touching and speaking to a woman that way? It would be quite a big issue, and there would most likely be some people that get fired if it happens in the workplace. Almost everyone I've told about this just laughs it off, so it's made it really hard for me to talk about. It is a terrible thing that could happen to anyone in any kind of way, and being approached like that unsolicited is something that shouldn't be done. Now, there is a social stigma around men sharing their feelings, and it's quite negative. I myself have been told to man up, and that I'm out of touch with my emotions, and that I need to stop complaining. I've been made out to be the bad guy, and that everything is my fault in the situation. In relationships, it is often expected or even required for us men to be that emotional rock and that emotional support for our partner, because sometimes it seems like her emotions are more important than ours. My daughter has asked me before, Dad, why do I never see you cry? Do you not have feelings? And my response to her is that I cry, it's just when nobody's looking. And not that I feel the need to cry all the time, but it is something where I just wish that I could share my emotions with someone and I don't have anybody or an outlet to go to unless I pay money for a therapist. Us men have been taught and brought up to focus on self control and not sharing our emotions. I believe that this is why Stoicism is very popular. And I'm not necessarily against Stoicism, but I do think there are some negative aspects of it. I do, however, encourage everyone to at least explore it. There's plenty of books out there and plenty of videos here on YouTube. It's definitely worth your while. So, continuing on with that stigma, there can be a negative impact on other people seeing us men as having depression. We believe that we are shown as weak, and it makes us not want to talk about what's actually going on in our problems. Oftentimes, I have also found myself downplaying symptoms. I would say that most of the time, us men just don't like talking about our feelings. We don't want to be seen as weak or annoying. And also, having something like depression or increased anxiety can hurt a relationship that we have with someone else. Oftentimes, I have even found myself downplaying my symptoms by just saying I'm tired or I need a break from things. And staying quiet about it because it's ingrained for us men to do that isn't necessarily healthy. Some indicators for men who are struggling with mental health are going to be depression and increased anxiety, like I just said. Also, thoughts of unaliving yourself. The best way to overcome this is to help us men just talk about it. I would really enjoy to talk to someone about my work and someone to just take interest in the things that I enjoy. I have met with a therapist in the past, and it was so relieving to just have 1 hour where it was me talking about how I felt. The unfortunate thing about that is that I have to pay money in order to express my feelings and my emotions. Something that also goes in line with the being seen as weak or weird and creepy is that when I was younger, I adamantly resisted a psychologist who diagnosed me, or at least tried to diagnose me, with depression. I refused to admit that I did, and I told her that I didn't want to take any medication. The underlying thing behind that I did not share was that I was really afraid of being given more pills and that other kids would find out that I have this thing that I take pills for, and I would get teased even more than I already was because I was struggling with epilepsy at the time. So, what are some things that can help us men that either your partner can help you do or that you can do by yourself? Really, the biggest thing is to just start talking about it. Us men don't like being vulnerable, and talking about our emotions is sometimes very uncomfortable. But I encourage you to talk to your partner and tell them that they may need to initiate the conversation because you don't always feel comfortable bringing it up. And the way to do that, I would say, is men, you just need to approach your partner and ask them sincerely and calmly just to listen to what you have to say and to not be judgmental about your feelings, and that what you share can be kept private between you two. It is also worth mentioning that breasts are actually quite healthy for men, the viewing and touching of them. And it actually is for women also. It helps lower stress and anxiety. It increases cardio, even in some cases. And don't forget that physical exercise is a necessity in life, and your physical exercise helps your mental health also. So, physical activities such as going to the gym or out for a walk can really help you out. Also, journaling for 10 minutes on a regular basis is something I do almost every day, but it's helped me out greatly. Also, something I highly recommend to people is listening to I am affirmations. There are plenty of videos here on YouTube that go over that. One last thing I'd like to say before I go is that I'm going to be doing a format that's similar to how my first couple videos were, where I'm just talking more naturally and using an outline instead of going through a script, and it sounds very robotic, at least in my opinion, it does. So, those Sun Tzu and You videos that I did, I had a lot of fun doing those, but they just didn't get the traction that I was hoping they would. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, and remember, stay vigilant. Life is difficult, but all we can do is make the best of it.